Happy New Year, guys. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Hope the year started well. Everything is going on great so far. It's actually almost Valentine's as well, so happy Valentine's. We haven't met since the year started, and I'm glad to be here. I started this podcast exactly about a year ago, February last year, February 2023 that is. And I had so much that I wanted to share with the world. I was very passionate, which I still am. A few challenges here and there along the way, but I'm glad that I'm here. When I was writing down my goals for the year, I call mine prayer items. I don't know what you call them, resolutions, whatever you call them. I was writing them down sometime mid-January. And I have a theme. My theme for the year is the year of action. So what the year of action means for me is that I'm going to do whatever it takes to make things work. I like this song by a Tanzanian artist, I'm not sure of the artist, that says "Huu ni mwaka wa kuforce," as in this is the year that we're gonna force things, guys. So I plan to go hard. And I think before we start the year, it's good for me to tell you like where I have been this entire time. I meet people in my day-to-day life, like friends, family, colleagues, and everyone keeps asking what happened with recording, what happened to the podcast. And I feel like I owe you guys an explanation because you're 100 and something of you. I'm proud of the 100 and something subscribers that I have so far, because for me the idea is touching people's lives. So if it happens that amongst those 100 and something I have touched a couple of people, that's amazing. And to me the job is somewhat done, you know. So I want to grow, absolutely. I want us to grow these numbers, become a bigger community. But even as we're on our way there, we still have to keep on. Life is hard. I know you know adulting is the ghetto, but God put us here for a reason. And this year, we're gonna make it happen. So when I started this podcast, I had so much hope. I had a list of topics that I had planned that I wanted to discuss, and I will ensure I will still have those topics here. One of the greatest challenges that I have faced along the way is with people. When I thought of starting this podcast, there's a friend or a former schoolmate, someone I was with in high school, who I saw who was in this space already. So I reached out to her, just wanting to know like what it took, what I needed to start. You know, I'd been thinking about starting the podcast for quite a long time. And so I reached out, and my idea was, when I was starting, that I would start first with a series where I was alone, a season rather. In my head, a season would be 10 episodes. And I thought, let me start just having discussions over certain things, the things I'm passionate about on my own, so that people can get a feel of who I am, you know, to know who this person is, what they stand for, what they're about. Is this something that I want to listen to? And then after that, I thought from there, or for the second season, I would have guests on for a couple of different topics. But then when I started, there's just this fear that crept in. I was like, I don't think it would be that interesting for people who do not know me, like trying to get to a wide audience. I didn't think that it would be very interesting to just hear things from this girl, you know, who no one knows. And so I think it was a bit of the fear. I was like, no, let me start with conversations first. Then if they're interesting, I can ease back in to the solo podcast thing. So I have done 5 episodes so far. I thought that at least, at the very least, when the year ended, I would have done 10 episodes. That wasn't a reality, but I'm very happy for everything that I have done so far. It may just be 5 episodes, but for me, it's a lot. It's a culmination of, months, if not years, of just wanting to start and then finally starting. And I'm glad that I got to have those conversations with people that I feel very comfortable with. I started the first episode with a get to know me on my own. The second episode I did with my dad, and that was just amazing. Like, I really look up to my dad in many ways, so it was nice to have him here and just get to share about his faith and what it means to him 50 years on. Then I had a conversation with Kendi Kamwambia about motherhood. Those who know me know motherhood is that topic that is, let's just say motherhood is, don't have the words for it, but it was an amazing conversation. We explored a couple of things about motherhood, what it is like being a millennial mom, what it is like mothering during these times. We've gone through a couple of rough times in the recent past, COVID. The world is changing, at a very crazy pace, so what it means being a mom in such an environment. Then I sat down with my sister, and it was good vibes, just how well we know each other. I really loved doing that episode. I had a conversation on mental wellness. I think that was episode 4. And that to me was the realest and most raw conversation I've had, especially since it was before someone is recording. I'm not in that space, guys. In my daily life, I'm not in front of cameras and lights and things like that. So being in the studio and actually being very vulnerable when someone is recording, it was a bit nerve-wracking. I remember the first 2 episodes, that's the introductory episode and the episode I did with my dad. I had some nerves. I felt a bit, like the people there, especially the first episode. So let me tell you guys what happened. For the first episode, I had established a place that I wanted to do the recording. Of course, some feedback from the person I told you I contacted, who has a podcast as well. And from that conversation, I did a bit of research as to places that can do that for me, the recording, that is, the editing and everything. Because for me, I didn't want to give myself so much pressure that I have to learn everything. I thought that would make me have an excuse for not actually starting. So I said, let me identify a place that is cost friendly and that has quality production that can be able to help me take off. And then later I can ease into doing the episodes by myself. So this day comes, I go get makeup because you have to look good. This is your premiere for those people who don't know you. And you're like, you want everything to be proper, the look, the everything. So got my makeup done, got to the studio and actually had a conversation with them prior on the phone. They knew exactly what I wanted to do, how I wanted my podcast to look like. So I was excited. Get to the set. I've written down the questions and the responses on my notebook. Instantly get nerves. I'm like, would it look so bad on camera if I have to keep referring from a book? Does a book look too ghetto or old-fashioned? Should I have used a phone instead? And I was like, chill, I'll just be authentic and just be myself. I like writing things down a lot. So I was just like, I like writing a lot, so I'll just refer from the books that I use. But then when it came to the point where we actually had to shoot, there's 3 people in the room. And this is the first time, guys, before recording something, serious, and I was like, damn. So there's someone checking the sound, someone's checking what. Hey, I was like, my God, this is a lot. So we did the episode. Hey, it was a bit, but okay, we did it anyway. Second episode also felt a bit of that. But I think what made the experience easier for me as well was the fact that I was doing these episodes with people I am comfortable with. And that helped to calm the nerves down, by a lot. Because I'm very comfortable around my dad, my sister, around Kendi. These are people I'm very used to. Another episode on mental health. That one, I shot at a different place. I established a new guy who was, I felt understood my needs better and was very open. He was very, how can I put it? He was very keen on giving me exactly what I wanted. And I appreciate that a lot. Thank you, Henry. So I was like, okay, this guy is making me feel very comfortable and relaxed, but I'm speaking about something that I'm very passionate about, something that makes me feel very vulnerable. I'm not just talking about something that's distant over there. I'm not talking about mental health and wellness because it's a trending topic or it's because something everyone is, all of a sudden very keen about. No, it's because it's something that I have a personal attachment or experience with as well. So I was being very vulnerable. That was my favorite episode because I was a bit apprehensive about being very vulnerable before someone I was not very used to. But also, it came from my heart. I know I was just reading a piece that I had written on my social media a while back, but everything felt so real. It was real emotion, real feeling, and it was awesome. So I'm glad you guys have been here for the 5 episodes. Like I said, this year is the year of action. So this year I'm not waiting to get to people. One of the greatest challenges I have faced with a podcast that has affected my consistency quite a bit is availability of guests. I think people who have started out like me, or even those who have made it, if they go back to when they started, it's quite challenging getting people on board. Because for me, the idea was I have these topics in my mind. Some continue coming along the way, but there's already certain things that I know I want to have conversations around. So those are set. So sometimes I have people that I want to have those conversations with. Other times, I don't have people exactly, but I've identified a couple of people that I think I'd be able to sit down with and converse over these issues. So sometimes you reach out to people. One, if you're not established, getting high profile people is a bit of a task. Secondly, sometimes even the people you're familiar with, that is family, friends, people around you, they might want to do it, but they're not as comfortable being in front of the camera, and everyone saying what they think. People have a bit of apprehension with regard to that. Other times, people accept, but when it comes to shooting, they postpone. I can tell you for a fact, I had, I think, about 4 episodes that I had already planned for, done an outline for, prepared, contacted those people, and they postponed 1 or 2 times, then finally indefinitely. And sometimes it's very exhausting emotionally. But you know what, guys, I started this and I'm not going to quit. So I said this is a year of action. This year nothing is stopping me, and that is why, guys, today this is the first time I'm doing this episode in my house. I think that deserves a clap. But anyway, I'm doing this in my house, shooting by myself. You can see how I'm holding the mic because I was supposed to clip it somewhere, but the sound was not sounding, it was not right. So I just thought, let me hold it, pass the message. But this is the first time I'm doing it in my house. As you can see, no makeup. Hair, mechapa kidogo here and there, But I was like, I'm doing it, If it means no makeup, well and good. If it means, hustling with everything by myself, editing or whatever, it's okay, I'll do it. Finances is also a thing, It's not cheap to shoot if you want something quality. So There are challenges here and there, guys, but I believe in the saying very strongly, where there is a will, there is a way. And for me, I'm taking this step boldly. This year, I promise you, I'm going to put stuff out there. Whether I have people or not, I believe I have a lot to share. I believe Karen has a lot to offer, with or without guests. So it's just for me to take the time, put in the effort, to explore ideas and see how engaging and how impactful I can be. And I am up to the task. I'm so excited for this year. A bit afraid, fear is always there, but you do it anyway, So thank you guys for being with me since I started this journey. I hope we'll proceed together. And I'm very positive and optimistic about the year and the podcast as well. I have personal goals I have set for myself, but I also have goals, specific goals for this podcast that I want to accomplish. Have many exciting ideas, series that I want to do on certain select topics, and it's gonna be a wonderful ride, guys. I promise to give my very best. Like last year when I started, there's challenges that I faced that I didn't know that I would when I started, but I started anyway. So similarly this year, I know there may be hurdles here and there, but I promise you guys, I'm gonna give you stuff or content. Content sounds weird, but yes, gonna put some good content out there. This is the year of action. This is the year we do it, guys, If you don't have makeup, do it. If you don't have the money, use your phone, whatever it takes, guys. But this year, we're doing it. I feel so lucky. I feel so blessed to be healthy, to be well, to be here today. Not everything is perfect. Like my mental wellness or health is not where I'd like it to be. But you know what? I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I've seen this year. I'm grateful that God has given me the opportunity to be healthy, to have the time, to have the opportunity to even sit here and do this. It's a blessing. I'm grateful for everyone who's in my life, my family, my friends. I wish all of them, and I wish all of you, my audience, a very successful 2024. At the Step by Step podcast, let's all agree that this is a year of action. This is the year to get all those things that you wanted to get done. Okay? See you guys.